he slimed me.
That's great! Actual physical contact!
I feel so funky.
We're ready to believe you.
All right, we're back with another episode of Ready to Believe. I'm Jamie Pale Rider.
Rob Williams.
Today we are talking weathering. This is something that, as I got into costuming, it was something that I really didn't delve into too much. It's a little bit daunting. It's a little bit kind of a mental hurdle of, I just bought this new costume piece. It's spanking new, pristine, and now I'm going to beat it up or make it look grungy and grimy and well used. It's a tough mental hurdle to get past. But once you do, where appropriate, I feel like it adds a ton to the costume. Especially if you're going for something from a movie where in the movie it's grimy and beat up and weathered and you're trying to emulate that, it adds a ton to it. And it can be a lot of fun once you kind of get over that hurdle.
It's something I've actually avoided. I avoid weathering because it kind of like pristine, but I think it makes sense with a Ghostbusters costume.
Absolutely.
Because it's meant to be grimy and dirty.
Yeah, full context. Yeah. Rob and I are both Scout Troopers in the 501st. My costume is weathered to emulate the movie.
I recognize your weathering. I recognize you from your weathering.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the Scouts in the movie, like some of them, it looks like they're straight up sucking on a tailpipe, where there's like that kind of like almost like a black airbrush that's been held for a couple seconds in one spot, and then just general grime and dirt and beating them up.
Mine's natural weathering on the boots. So.
Natural
and dealing
weathering
with kids who come around and want to give you a hug. So natural weathering.
But if we're talking Ghostbusters, it's that whole blue collar aesthetic. They're jumpsuits. They look like exterminators or garbage men, basically.
Aaron's is really cool.
Yes.
And we'll be talking about Aaron in a second here. He's weathered his to make it look like it's been slimed.
Yes.
And it's really nice.
That he's kind of gone off on his own. He's got that kind of that pioneering spirit where he's just going to go and try something.
Yeah.
And like even me, like I'm definitely more on the comfortable side with weathering. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to like. What if I screw up my nice Ghostbusters jumpsuit? But that said, though, I was very eager to weather it up, especially if you've seen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I love how the jumpsuits look in that movie. Someone very clearly took some time and put in the effort to make them look grimy. And not necessarily like chewed up, like Egon's old suit in Afterlife that they pull out of the locker or anything like that.
The back end of a cow
but like,
or anything
it looks
that.
like something that, they might have gotten new, but then over like they're in the middle of summer and they're sweating and they're doing their thing. And the grime is noticeable, and I feel like it adds another layer, another dimension of the suit. So that's kind of what we're trying to emulate with our weathering for this pass on my suit. So kind of a little background. We're filming this after I've gone and weathered my suit. So I don't know if it comes out on camera much, but this is kind of pass one of weathering on the suit. And I definitely want to do another pass just to add another layer. And that's kind of Aaron's mantra when he talks about weathering is, do it in layers. You don't want to go too heavy on your first pass. You can, if you do go too heavy, you can basically shake it out like an Etch-a-Sketch, just throw it in the wash, and then you're starting fresh. But yeah, you want to build it up in layers. Kind of, you're speeding up the natural weathering process, as it were. Yeah. But yeah, with that, we're
going to go straight to Aaron's house in Victoria.
We're going back to Victoria again.
Back to Victoria.
Yeah.
And Aaron's going to take us step by step. It's kind of like the joy of painting.
Very much Bob Ross.
The joy of weathering.
Yeah.
And it's going to take us step by step on how to weather a jumpsuit. At least how he suggests. So,
yeah.
So ready? Let's go back to Victoria. No snap.
It's not as good as the classic.
kind of paint do you have there?
This is just your, like,
This is like
this is the
acrylic?
cheapest stuff that you can get. You can go to like Walmart and get the apple barrel stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's like acrylic paint.
Yeah, it's acrylic paint is the $1.49 special, right?
Sweet.
So essentially what you want to do is you want it to be, we don't want it to be black, we
Yeah.
want it to be charcoal, because if it's black, then it's going to be like really noticeable. Like
Yeah.
I've seen people that just take a can of black spray paint
Oh, God.
and it doesn't look good. So what we're doing is we are going to use a watered down acrylic. So this is just paint right now.
Yep.
So it's literally, it's still just paint. And we're kind of at the right consistency, I think. I mean, the right color, I should say.
Yeah.
So we want it to be like a consistency like like milk.
Okay.
You don't want it to be,
It's like pretty liquidy.
yeah. So the idea is that we're watering it down and then we're going to water. You know, a wet on wet technique.
Okay.
And Bob Ross fans out there will know a wet on wet technique. You know, I'm going to beat the devil out of it.
Okay.
But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to saturate this. Okay. And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to take a rag. I got a rag. Okay. Nice little rag, totally clean. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges. All right, so it's going to look really dark, by the
Yeah.
way. It's going to look really dark. And so I'm just going to get in there. You know, maybe in the zipper or whatever. And then I'm going to take my rag. And I'm just gonna blend it in. So the idea here is that you want to get rid of any lines that may have been created
By the paintbrush?
by the paintbrush, yes, or that you know that may or may not have appeared. You know, even if you're smudging with this, you can just kind of blend that out. And the whole idea with this is that you want to have fun with it. You want to. I'm really sounding like Bob Ross.
Yeah,
now, aren't I? Jesus
absolutely.
Christ, please.
You are Bob Ross.
No, I'm not.
Happy little weathering.
Oh god,
Yeah.
happy little weathering. So if you get Rob to move out of your light, you get to see, and essentially it's still very wet, right?
Yeah.
So when it dries, you're really going to see a difference. It's going to look a lot lighter. Okay. But you can see that this is, you know, we got the edges out, and it just kind of blends in. So what I'd like you to do, Jamie, is you are going to take your brush, and you're going to take your spray bottle, and you're going to work your way up and around. So you can, you can work your way here. And I would work in areas. I wouldn't do too much at once because it does dry. But I want you to really get into like all the nooks and crannies. And I want you to really, so just get in there. You can use your hands. Just get in there. And don't worry about making mistakes. Because
Happy little accidents.
Happy accidents. and that's kind of it too, right? Where you're gonna find that you like it dirtier in some spots. You might want to go lighter in some areas. I like having it, just naturally on the seams.
Yeah.
But then you might be like, oh, I actually kind of like it, a little more in here. I try to avoid any areas that I'm not going to put too much in the crotchal region just because it looks kind of weird. But yeah, so then you rub and you just wet that a little bit and then go to town. Just blend it. It's almost like you're kind of erasing a little bit, and you'll get a feel for it as you're kind of going along. Jamie.
Yeah. This is like literally watching paint dry. It's going to be hard to see right now on the camera. I think we have to wait for it to dry. Yeah.
The sun's starting to go down.
We'll see it when it dries.
Yeah, I'm. That's what I'm most excited for, is just to see what it looks like when it dries, and kind of just assess like if there's any areas that I want to do more, or like if I wanted to add a little bit of character to it, like maybe like some browns or something like that.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that very Bob Ross-esque look at the process of weathering, specifically weathering fabric. That's something that I had never done before. I've only ever weathered hard surfaces, which is a very different methodology. Basically, my mentality going through it was I was trying to imagine where their hands are going. Basically, like their hands are grubby. They're like basically using their pockets. So I focused on the zippers, any of the major seams, anything like
Around
a
the
high
belt
spot.
area?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're putting things
The
on their
belt,
belt.
they're putting things on the belt, taking it off the belt. They're putting on the pack, so trying to hit like the shoulders. And like any high spot, like so seams on the suits would pick up grime more naturally just because they stick out a little bit. So they're going to be the first kind of thing that rubs on something, say even if they're walking by the ecto and the ecto is kind of gross and dirty. That kind of stuff.
I'm looking at the camera right now, and it's not showing as much grime as is in real life. So you're going to take a second pass at
That's
this.
why I want to do the second
Yeah.
pass. It's one thing, like in person, I'm really happy with where it's at. And it looks great to someone looking at it in person. But I also want it to look good on camera because we do end up taking a lot of pictures, taking videos like this. And it definitely will not show up as easily on camera. And that's something that's in the back of my mind. Plus, there's some other stuff I wanted to add. Maybe I didn't. I went over it a little bit too fast and wanted to do another kind of shot of it. And it's kind of the balance, like my whole mentality with weathering in general is less is more. So I don't want to go overboard, so it's tough to kind of strike that balance. But yeah, we're gonna do another pass for sure. Huge thank you to Aaron for taking through that process, because yeah, that's something that I had never done before with weathering a fabric. So yeah, that was super informative. It's always so much easier to do something like that when you have someone who's done it with you, kind of guiding you through the process. Kind of removes a bit of that mental block of, oh, what if I screw it up? I won't know how to recover, that kind of thing. But yeah, massive thank you to Aaron for taking us through that. Our very own Bob Ross.
I might actually weather my suit. I'm not kidding. I might actually weather it. So.
Oh, highly recommended.
Seriously, it looked pretty
It's easy.
straightforward.
It really is easy. Very like not labor intensive, not supplies intensive. It was very basic, and it was fun. Put on a little Bob Ross music. Have it be a little bit relaxing.
Who
Imagine
doesn't
Bob.
want to put that on?
Right? It's chill and so much fun. Yeah, just get over that initial hurdle and just dive in. It adds so much to the costume.
We can't put it in for copyright reasons, but just imagine it's there. So
Yeah. So with that, that's it for weathering a suit. Yeah, definitely something I'm going to revisit. Yeah, I've got some other projects in the works that are always also going to be weathered up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of it for sure. But until next time, I'm Jamie Pale Rider,
Rob Williams,
and we're ready to believe you.